You're listening to the Mouse Ears and Wishes podcast. This is episode number 44 for the week of October 19th. I'm Stefan.
And I'm Jen.
And we're your hosts on this Disney podcast.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, and welcome back.
Welcome back. You may have noticed something different behind us this week.
Spooky season is upon us.
Spooky season.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, we have Oogie Boogie back there. We have the jack-o'-lantern pumpkin that we got from one of the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween parties.
I'm blocking the tree.
We have a Halloween tree. Don't ask. I don't know why I have that.
He's got a bunch of Snoopy ornaments on it that are Halloween themed.
The Great Pumpkin, Stefan.
Yeah. No, but I mean
It's legitimate. Charlie Brown is a real Halloween icon.
Yes, but what I mean is I feel like most people would consider if you say tree and Charlie Brown together, you think of the Christmas tree.
Oh, we do have that too.
Which we do have, yes. But right now, this is a Halloween-themed Charlie Brown tree.
Okay.
And then...
Oh, something from my childhood. This, I don't know, monster trick-or-treat swing. Something my aunt gave us.
It's cute.
It is cute. Yeah. We also had one for Easter with bunnies on it, but I don't know what happened to it.
Probably nothing good. It's very fragile. It's ceramic and,
This lasted so long. You don't even know.
You took very good care of this one.
Distracted by it now.
Yes. Trust us, though, this is not the only bit of Halloween festive cheer that we have amongst our house here. It's all over the place. So I think I mentioned I might do a little showcase of the different areas with some behind the scenes stuff.
When are we gonna do that?
I'll film it after this.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now that it's up.
Okay.
Yeah, so get excited.
Great. Don't show the not nice parts of our house.
Oh no, only the good ones.
Okay. Should we talk about what we're wearing this week?
Absolutely. Should I go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay. I am wearing King George, right?
Yep.
And then on the bottom it says, "Awesome, wow."
Yep.
And it's from Hamilton.
It's a Hamilton quote.
In case you didn't know.
And the shirt is from Buena Vista Magic.
Yes.
Sorry, took me a second. And I have actually one of my first Spirit jerseys I ever purchased. It's not very descriptive on the front, but it's a villains themed Spirit jersey, and it's kind of like that faux velvet.
It's very
Or maybe
nice.
it is real velvet. So I don't know what the difference is. But on the sleeve, it has all of the symbols of the different villains. So the poison apple, Maleficent's horns. I think that's the evil queen. No, I don't know what that one is.
Yeah. Queen of Hearts, yeah.
Oh, Queen of Hearts, sure. This is from the Magic Mirror, and then that's Ursula's when she steals
thing. Yeah.
What's his name?
King Triton.
Thank you.
Yeah.
His
Triton's trident.
Right.
Yes.
And then on the back, Stefan, will you do the honors?
Absolutely. It says,
I make the rules.
yeah, it says, "I make the rules," real wide over here. But if you don't see the I, it could be like Queens make the rules, if you want to.
Sure. And has some of the
top tier queens.
Villains. And then these are my super old Halloween ears too, from many, many years ago. And I know that because they're super tight on my head.
Yeah.
And that's how I know that they're original. But yeah.
What kind of color would you say? Is it Maleficent colors?
I don't know.
Maybe.
I feel like purple and green are Halloween colors.
Yeah, that's true.
This was before they named every color palette after something, like Arendelle Aqua and stuff. Now this was just whatever they decided to release that year. So.
Yeah. So you get to see some of the OGs.
Yep.
Throwback Thursdays, Sunday.
Yeah. Our biggest life update is sitting right behind us. That's Teddy. We mentioned last week he had his first vet appointment and it went very well.
Yes.
He did cry the whole way to the vet.
To be expected.
But she said that he is doing very well. He is very trim, and everything seems to be well with him.
Yeah.
We do have to bring him back in a couple weeks for another vaccine, because apparently in his records it didn't look like he'd had 2 rounds of the distemper vaccine, which apparently you need before you can get like a booster. So he has to get 2 rounds of that. And then he has to get one in another year, and then it's every 3 years after that. So if you have cats, you know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But we were really nervous that when we would bring him and then bring him back, that we were gonna like
lose progress.
Yeah, lose all the progress
Yeah.
we made with getting him to sit with us and to be comfortable with us. And it actually did the exact opposite. I think it was because he thought we were like returning him.
Right.
He didn't realize we were going to the vet.
Yeah.
So he thought we were returning him, and then when we actually brought him back to the house, he was thrilled. He was thrilled to be back in his home, and that actually has changed everything for him. I mean, now he's extremely comfortable with us. He comes on the bed with us. He sits in my mom's room on her pillow by the window. He comes to the kitchen to eat. He sits on the couch with us pretty much the entire day. He doesn't hide really ever.
He doesn't jump out of the way when you walk by him anymore.
Yeah,
Anything.
nothing. He has
That was
completely
it.
changed. Yeah. Now in the morning he like follows me around when I'm getting ready for work. So
Good and bad.
yeah, which is good and bad. So yeah, so we really turned a corner with him, and he seems happy. So
Yeah. We couldn't be happier.
wow,
Yeah. Isn't that nice?
that's an old reference.
Right.
Anything else to add?
About Teddy? No, he's great. He's fantastic. He loves to play with the toys. We tried to start this episode like 25 times, and he's just been rolling around the
We
whole
didn't
time.
want to interrupt him. He was having a good time.
Yeah, it was great.
And now he's just taking up residence behind Stefan's chair. So I don't know.
It's a good
I don't know
place
what's
to be.
happening. Disney updates, still nothing. Nothing to report. Today I looked up the infection rate in Florida. It's at 12.4. And in order for Florida to be removed from the New Jersey list, it has to be below 10. So, I don't know. Are we getting there? I'm not sure.
The speculation is that this is maybe the lowest it's going to get
Yeah.
before it starts to spike back up again.
Because we're already going back up here. So.
Right.
But one can dream. We're not going to give up hope just yet.
Mm-hmm.
We'll keep checking on it. And then an update from last week. So last week, during one of our articles, we were talking about coronavirus at the parks. And we were saying, oh, you know, for Columbus Day weekend, I think they just opened up to full capacity because it looked so crowded on all the live streams we were watching. And actually, Bob Iger came out and was like, nope, we haven't increased capacity. It's still at 25%. But if you think about it, 25% of whatever full capacity is 80,000 people. It's still a lot of people.
It's a lot, yeah.
So, yeah. So even though it's not full capacity, I mean, it's still plenty of people at the parks if it reaches that 25%.
When they say capacity in the parks, I don't think I've asked this before. Do they mean capacity across all Walt Disney World parks?
Oh.
Or do they mean like specifically? Like, because they could count, if it was Columbus Day and we were watching, where were we watching? Epcot?
I think it was Magic Kingdom.
Right, yes, it was Magic Kingdom. So let's say it was super packed in Magic Kingdom, maybe it wasn't packed anywhere else, and they're saying, oh well, total capacity was still 25%. Trick of the words.
I think it's at each park,
Could be.
to be honest, but I don't know. Maybe you're right.
I'm spreading rumors here.
And we had never heard this 25% capacity thing before.
No.
Like, Disney does not talk about capacity. But I guess people were complaining or talking about how Disney's being irresponsible and that it just reopened. And Bob Iger was like, nope, still 25% people. So.
Yeah, he shuts those things down.
Yeah, he does. Robert. Anything else to add to that?
No, we're still watching our favorite folks on the YouTube stream. So I guess if we end up not being able to go on our trip, we'll just have to keep on keeping on with those guys.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to the news.
To the news.
To the news. All right. Our first article this week comes from Variety. And it is titled, Disney Plus adds content warning to Dumbo and Peter Pan. So, Disney Plus has added new content warning label on several classic animated movies, including Peter Pan, Dumbo, Fantasia, and Lady and the Tramp. Last year, the streaming service added content warnings to content considered to have outdated depictions that appeared as a smaller text box on the screen. The updated disclosure appears when a user clicks on the film, with the label lasting on screen for about 10 seconds. This program includes negative depictions and or mistreatment of people or cultures, the new label reads. These stereotypes were wrong then and are wrong now. Rather than remove this content, we want to acknowledge its harmful impact, learn from it, and spark conversation to create a more inclusive future together. Disney is committed to creating stories with inspirational and aspirational themes that reflect the rich diversity of the human experience around the globe. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is quite a warning.
That really is.
Oh, and then in the article they actually show. So it takes up the whole screen. And then it also directs you to a website where it says, to learn more about how stories have impacted society, visit www.disney.com/storiesmatter. In November 2019, a shorter content warning was added to movies such as Dumbo due to racist depictions found in the films created by Disney in the 1940s and 50s. This program is presented as originally created, the warning previously said, and may contain outdated cultural depictions. The updated screen also offers a link, as I said, to disney.com/storiesmatter, which includes a PSA and information on the impact of diverse storytelling on culture. The short video includes statements by a number of entertainment professionals, including Gina Davis, Gil Robertson, Gloria Calderon-Kellett, and Cristela Alonso. Did I say all those right?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of well-known names on that list.
Yeah. And we did watch the PSA, and it was pretty moving.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah, it was really nice. So definitely, I'll try to put the link to the actual video in the description. So if you want to check it out, you can. But yeah, it was a 3-minute video, and it had a pretty big impact on me.
Yeah, it was a pretty strong message there. I mean, you can always count on Disney to come out with something that's both emotional and thought-provoking. So
At the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Since the inception of Disney Plus, the company has also notably opted not to include its 1946 musical film Song of the South in its list of content. The movie has not been available in any format for more than 3 decades, presumably because of its racist depictions of Black Americans. Disney's actions reflect the entertainment industry's reckoning with the racism inherent in content from previous decades. Other streaming sites have also made steps to acknowledge the negative portrayals of people of color in movies and shows on their services. HBO Max pulled Gone with the Wind from the streaming service in June, but later restored the film with a notice that the film denies the horrors of slavery.
Wow.
Shows like 30 Rock and Community, which are much more recent than the Disney films labeled for their negative depictions, have also had episodes pulled from the streaming sites for use of blackface. So actually, not that this is really related, but there is an episode of The Office where one of the characters is in blackface, and actually I never knew this because they took it off Netflix. So they completely cut out the scene where the character is in blackface. And the only way you kind of know that it sort of happened was that later he's washed his face, but there's still some like black paint like by his ears or whatever. And you're like, was he, when did that happen?
Yeah.
So a lot of these streaming services, I think, are taking it upon themselves. Whether at the time people found it funny or it was considered okay, in the current climate, it's not. And it's nice to acknowledge it instead of just being like, well, that was the time period and get used to it, kids. Like, I think it's important to be like, this was made during a specific time and it's not appropriate. And we value, true storytelling, and we're going to make an effort to change that.
Yeah, the purpose is now, I mean, we have to understand that, yes, of course, that was stuff that was normal for the time. So the point is that we want to spark the conversation. And I think with things like 30 Rock, I'm assuming there are a lot of things that are, you know, a lot of sitcoms have episodes like that where they do like racial tension stuff, and they do stuff where they, I think their intent is to poke at sometimes people who are being racially unaware,
right,
as opposed to trying to be racially
right,
unaware.
to make you be like, oh my God, how could anybody be that stupid,
right,
or insensitive, right? I think that's also the way The Office portrays it too, where like they go to such an extreme to point out like, look how stupid some people are, you know, whatever. But like, I really think that's the point of those kind of things. But
and I guess on the other hand, some people aren't aware that that is something that is inappropriate, you know. So again, to spark this conversation, to let, you know, to have people become more educated, more self-aware of how they are interacting with, you know, with the world around them.
Yeah. Absolutely. So really interesting. I haven't come across this yet because I haven't watched, I guess, the movies that they mention. But yeah, I'll be really interested to see which films. I mean, Fantasia we were watching just a couple weeks ago.
Right.
Maybe it was not really a couple weeks ago, like a month ago. And I did.
I just edited that episode.
Yeah, and I didn't see a warning label then, but maybe now.
Yeah, this is definitely a newer thing. And I don't even remember.
I'm trying to think what reference.
Peter Pan.
Well, Peter Pan because of Tiger Lily and stuff.
Yes, okay.
But Dumbo, what about Dumbo?
I'm not sure. There might have been something. Obviously, it was in one of the circus shows. There must have been something.
Oh, sure. Lady and the Tramp is obvious. The Siamese cats.
There's something I was going to say, an instance where people might not be aware. I think we've mentioned we watched the show Bluey, and that's like one of our favorite shows of all time, if not like our favorite show now.
It's for children.
It's for children, but it's more for adults. Like, let's be honest. They wrote it so that the adults could watch with their children and also be connected to it. And there were actually a couple episodes on there where the characters say something that was intended by the writers to just be like nonsensical words that like any kid would say. And some viewers were watching it, and I think it, you know, viewers of indigenous nationality and heritage. And it turns out that those words that even maybe kids would say not knowing were racially charged and part of like a stereotype of what some indigenous folks might say. So it ended up that the writers of Bluey decided, okay, we're going to then just re-record these parts of the episode and I'll have that there. And it's actually something we didn't really know about until we watched the episode, and we watch every episode with captions on. That's what we do when we watch TV. And at that moment, it must have been so fresh that the captions still said what the language used to be.
Yeah.
But the
and we were like, why does it say that and not what they're saying? And then we Googled it. We're like, oh.
Yeah. So a lot of shows are constantly changing and updating and trying to be better.
Yeah.
For how society needs them to be.
And I think that's great.
Yeah.
I think that's great. I think it's great to acknowledge, you know, yeah, these were the views of the time, but it's not appropriate.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, for impressionable young people that might be watching. So.
Absolutely.
Alrighty.
Yeah, so we are going to move on to an article from Orlando Sentinel.
My favorite.
The article is titled, Disney World, Rise of the Resistance Hopefuls Have Mere Seconds to Catch the Ride. Sounds ominous.
It does.
Okay. Each morning at Disney's Hollywood Studios, there's a brief moment of silence. Theme park visitors stand motionless, heads are bowed. There may be a few thoughts and prayers, but it is not a religious service.
That's funny.
It's more like a high-stakes game. Call it Star Wars Rise of the Resistance Roulette, in which winners earn the right to ride on one of Walt Disney World's newest, most in-demand rides. Within seconds of the park's official opening, it's over. Cries of joy come from some corners. Other voices yell, "They're gone already?" All of the ride's loading groups have been assigned for the morning, courtesy of the My Disney Experience app. Those who missed out can try again at 2 p.m. We heard that if a whole bunch of people in your group tried to do it at the same time, that it doesn't work as well. So we had one person doing it, said Corey Van Leer, who was visiting from Minnesota this week. Her group got in, and then it said something went wrong. So we didn't get in.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yikes, that's terrible, yeah. A few steps away, Caitlin Stringer and her family were all trying, counting down the seconds to 10 a.m. aloud. It was over 15 seconds later. They cheered. It was her first try, but she had the right touch. She secured boarding group 11.
Whoa,
wow.
that's really good.
That's a good one, yeah. That's basically you just go to it
Yeah.
right away. Stringer, who lives in Oklahoma, heard the animation courtyard area had good Wi-Fi reception. As you can see, nobody's here, she said, but I turned off my Wi-Fi.
I wonder why.
Yeah. About 50 people typically stand around in the plaza for the key moments. I feel like I've seen more than that on streams.
50?
Yeah, it is 50 people per 10 square feet. But most of the attractions in that area, including the Voyage of the Little Mermaid show and Star Wars Launch Bay, remain closed for now. 4 character meeting areas stand uninhabited in post-shutdown mode. Some Disney workers pass through and wish the waiting visitors luck. With loading group rituals come rumors and legends. Some visitors claim it's best to ditch Disney World's Wi-Fi. I'd say that's true.
I'd say that's also true.
Others advise standing in less crowded parts of the park to avoid reception jams. Refresh the page with the join button, some say. Have everyone in your party try to get spots, says one school of thought. No, only have one person in your group try, says another. Ryan Dorn, an annual pass holder who lives in Celebration, estimates that he has been on Rise 10 times. He was only unable to get on once, he said. He thinks there are multiple good places to stand in the park. Basically, as long as you're not in the dead center of the park, you're potentially going to have better luck, he said. It's really just making sure that you are obviously ready to go when everything drops, he said. Be ready to hit join immediately. And, assuming everything doesn't go in 2 seconds, literally, you should be able to get in. Though one day he got in a group after 6 minutes while standing in the middle of the park, he said. Okay.
When was that?
This is great. So the rules we're getting here is either it does or it doesn't work with something, do this and don't do it.
Right.
Really, come on, balls in your court. Use of a virtual line system means there's not a long winding queue for Rise, where visitors could spend multiple hours just standing, leaning, and waiting. At first, the ride had pre-dawn opportunities for boarding groups. Then, after the park reopened from the coronavirus lockdown, there were 3 rounds of attempts per day. Now folks can attempt to get spots at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. only. This setup gives ride operations flexibility and ends early gathering of crowds, a Walt Disney World spokeswoman said this week. The park now opens at 10 a.m., and visitors must be in the park to get Rise reservations. Opening the virtual queue 2 times is meant to give people who may not be early risers a chance to join the queue later in the day, she said.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's really nice. Very thoughtful.
Because a lot of people, don't want to spend their vacations getting up at 5 a.m. in order to make sure they can get on this ride, maybe. So yeah, I think that's really nice.
I'm also thinking about families who have just a tough time getting out of the hotel room in the morning. Yeah. There are many factors at play in the demand for Rise of the Resistance beyond the COVID-19 pandemic. The parks are operating under limited capacity, and that's also true for rides. Rise's vehicles seat 8 passengers, 2 rows of 4 people across, but under current restrictions, they usually take off with 1 party aboard, even if that means that a visitor flies solo.
Oh, wow.
Which makes sense.
It does, but yeah, that's a huge loss, I think.
It is a huge loss. I'm wondering why they don't just put that
Like a
plexiglass
barrier?
right between, just in case. Because they've done that for many other things. I mean, Kilimanjaro Safaris, we saw that on the new teacup ride in Tokyo.
Oh.
They had that plexiglass.
Does it have to do with that there's that little drop? Are they worried
Maybe.
it'll fly up? I don't know. That is a good point. Or even like how they have on the buses, maybe putting like a barrier in between I don't know.
All right.
To know.
Let me read this next sentence and take my foot out of my mouth. We recently tested an update to the ride vehicles and had plexiglass barrier between the first and second rows,
Oh.
the Disney spokeswoman said. We're working toward introducing this to all the vehicles.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there you go. That would quickly increase the daily capacity of the ride. Yes, it would.
Yes, it would.
How about that?
Disney listened.
Thank you.
Immediately.
Wow, immediately. They wrote the article right after I said that. Across Disney World, the FastPass Plus reservation system has not been used since the parks reopened in July because they said it was indefinitely suspended. Every ride uses the regular standby lines except for Rise, where one gets the boarding group via the app or doesn't go at all. Passengers are signaled when their turns are nearing. In the meantime, visitors can enjoy other park experiences, from restaurants to shows, shops, and other rides.
It's not true that they're just using the regular standby lines.
Yeah.
Like, the whole point of not having Fast Pass was that it opened up an extended queue to hold people, in the regular line. It's not that they just got rid of it because they wanted to get rid of it. It had a purpose, but anyway.
Yeah, no, I think we even mentioned that in a previous episode.
Right.
Star Wars Rise of the Resistance, which debuted in December, is one of the newest rides at Disney World. The nearby Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway opened in March, and many park guests queue up for Runaway Railway while waiting for the 10 a.m. Rise window.
That's smart.
Yeah. How about that?
Huh.
Okay. Rise is considered the most technically sophisticated Disney attraction, incorporating 3 distinct ride systems, animatronics, and synchronized moments between music and visuals. There are complicated special effects, a run literally between the legs of gigantic at figures, which we've never seen because it keeps cutting out on the streams. So sad.
Sure, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's great. Big screen battles and dozens of stormtroopers to maneuver around. Where there's a lot going on, a lot can go wrong and create shutdowns, said Dennis Spiegel, president of the International Theme Park Services. Plus, factors such as company layoffs, cutbacks, and loss of revenue are at play, he said.
Oh boy.
Yeah. When you bring all those things together, particularly the mechanical problem, the scheduling problem, the guests problem, it just creates the perfect storm kind of situation for the big word we hate, delay, he said. Yeah. Other coronavirus-based factors include Disney requiring reservations to enter the parks, and it's not allowing visitors to go to more than one theme park per day. Right, Park Hopper. Not on the menu.
I don't know.
This summer, Rick Hayden and family flew from Virginia for a vacation featuring 4 Disney World parks in 4 days, meaning their one day at Hollywood Studios was their one shot to Rise. They had good luck traveling via Disney Skyliner from their hotel, and were first in line to get into the theme park, he said.
This is not going to end well, is it?
No, it's too cheerful.
Yeah.
Once inside, they followed the advice of other Caribbean beach resort guests and staked out a spot on Sunset Boulevard near the Tower of Terror ride. Huh, that's a bit of a walk.
It is.
They avoided getting into line for Rock and Roller Coaster early because he heard that phone reception was bad there. A cast member gave him tips about the app, which he had not used before. Right at 9:59 or maybe 9:58, I started swiping down, and I think reflexively went one swipe after the join prompt came up, he said. So then, on the next one, I hit it and got number 43. Their estimated virtual wait time was listed as 4 hours. Hayden wasn't considering it a make-or-break attraction for this trip, but he gave the ride high marks. I don't even need to do it again, he said, but I was glad for the experience.
Whoa. Well, let's remember, it seems like this man does not go to Disney often.
Yeah.
So he doesn't even know the My Disney Experience app. So let's not, attack him for not liking Rise of the Resistance.
I like how they set that up. Okay, another Office reference. When Michael was saying, was it about Meredith?
Yeah.
It was like, the doctors did everything they could.
And she's gonna be
They're like, why would you set us up like that?
It did really seem like he was just going to be upset. Because, I understand this, that when Rise did first open, if for some reason that day you went to Hollywood Studios in the morning to get a boarding group, if you didn't get it, you were like, okay, well, I'll try again tomorrow or whatever. But now you don't have that option. Like, you have Hollywood Studios for one day. And I think it can be a make or break for a lot of people to not get onto Rise. Yeah, but I just thought this was really interesting. I mean, you were right what you said before, that there really isn't any rhyme or reason to getting these boarding groups. It's like, right place at the right time. Did you hit the join button at the exact second it hit 10 o'clock? Were you in the right spot? Did you have Wi-Fi on? Like, there's really so many factors.
Even with, before Corona, when we do like mobile ordering, even like we would struggle with that too, being on or off Wi-Fi, being in a crowded area or being in an area that was too far from.
Well, it's just My Disney Experience, and if they really want these virtual queues to work the way that they're intended to work, there needs to be an update.
Yeah.
To My Disney Experience.
Absolutely, I think we talked about this, like maybe even the episode when we mentioned that they were taking away Fast Pass. and we said, well, this would be a perfect opportunity for them to update the app and make sure that it works, make sure that their Wi-Fi network is capable of handling, because the capacity is low. So
Right.
it should be better for people.
It should be working.
But
Yeah. So, I don't know. So I don't really know what to tell you guys. If you do end up going to the parks and getting, boarding group, I wish you luck.
yeah.
Let us know in the comments if you have any tips for us if we eventually ever get to ride it.
Mm-hmm.
We'd love to know your thoughts. And then we can report back if we ever get there.
Yeah, I think if anything, especially because you and I are early risers when it comes to going to the parks, we would absolutely recommend, and we'd do this ourselves if we were there, to try for that 10 a.m. and
Yeah,
then
I
try
don't
for
know
2
how
a.m.
many slots they allocate per morning and afternoon, but I feel like when I'm watching the streams and the streamer people go in the afternoon, they're struggling to get a boarding group that's not like a backup group.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, are they only giving backup groups to the people that are doing the 2 o'clock? I don't know.
It's kind of funny because obviously the people we watch like live there and go there constantly.
Right.
So sometimes they're like, well, it doesn't look like I got it. Oh, well, I'll just go over here. And we're like,
Really, that
we'd
must
be
be
so
nice.
frustrated.
Yeah, that must be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would never feel that way. I feel like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right, we're going to move on to our last article for today, which is from Disney Parks blog, and it's about capturing Halloween and holiday memories with special Memory Maker offer from Disney's PhotoPass service.
Hey,
So,
I haven't heard that in a long time.
Yeah.
PhotoPass.
me either. A spectacular fall fun in full swing and the magic of the holiday season just around the corner. It's the perfect time of year to capture memories with Disney PhotoPass service. Beginning today, which this came out on Friday. So beginning today, we're introducing a special offer on our popular Memory Maker product that makes it even easier for you to cherish all the special moments you capture with us during your visits for the rest of the year. Memory Maker allows you to download unlimited PhotoPass photos and videos from your vacation, and when you activate your Memory Maker purchase anytime now through November 30th, 2020, you can download all of your Disney PhotoPass photos and videos captured through the end of 2020, rather than the standard 30-day window. Huh.
I feel like I was just looking at our PhotoPass for some reason, and I saw photos from like a year ago
Yeah.
on there.
Guess we better
Just
download
shocking.
those.
I did. I downloaded
Oh, you did?
everything I could. I downloaded
Great.
because too many times have we been like,
You were
oh, we
like,
should have
oh,
gotten
we
it.
forgot.
Yeah.
Please note that this offer does not apply to Memory Maker one day, and the 45-day expiration policy on photos and videos remains in effect, so you'll need to download your content as you go before it expires. So, with the rest of the year to snap, save, and share your photos, the possibilities are endless. Now through October 31st, enjoy seasonal treats as you catch a Halloween character cavalcade and showcase your own Halloween costume best with photos at Magic Kingdom Park. Then beginning November 6th through December 30th, enjoy festive food and beverage and merchandise offerings, special projections on Cinderella Castle, and appearances by Santa Claus himself as you share joyful photo memories featuring holiday decor at all 4 theme parks.
Wow. They have a photo here of a man and his daughter behind the castle with like Christmas holiday masks on, holiday gear and everything. The turrets look so purple in this photo.
Yeah.
That's
I don't know how they
crazy.
could have taken this photo because there's garland on the castle.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Unless
Disney
they
magic.
they photoshopped it a little bit from last year and like they took a picture of these people in a green screen and then just
I have no
made it
idea.
purple.
Or maybe they just hung up garland in one spot real quick, took a photo, and then
That's
took it
also
down.
true. Early in the morning.
Yeah.
Beyond seasonal photo opportunities, memories can be made any day with a number of new offerings from Disney PhotoPass service throughout Walt Disney World Resort. Pose for a magic shot in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge featuring the child from Star Wars The Mandalorian, or in the center of your own 360 Tiny World magic shot. Super zoom magic shots provide amazing angles from above in a unique video featuring perfect for sharing on social media. I've seen those. They are really
Me too.
cool.
Those are awesome.
I don't know where to go to get them though, but it's fine.
I think it's right next to the Millennium Falcon, maybe. Oh no, there's The milk stand.
Oh,
this,
the milk
this is a
stand.
milk stand here. Yeah.
Plus, after you visit most Disney PhotoPass Photo locations, you'll see a number of extras added to your account that relate to that photo spot, such as digital wallpapers and beautiful photos of the parks and Disney characters. During COVID times, they did add a ton of these, like stock photos, to PhotoPass. So if you're a pass holder and you have PhotoPass, and I downloaded like a bunch of them to save to my computer and use on my phone and stuff.
They're fantastic. Look at these things.
They are really great. These are just a few of our favorite ways to make the most of Memory Maker. Show us your favorite memories by using hashtag Disney PhotoPass on social media, and then you can visit the PhotoPass website for more information.
Aww.
But yeah, so still lots of really fun things you can do with PhotoPass, plus you get the extras that maybe you wouldn't get. There looks like there's a video of Cinderella, and obviously she doesn't have a mask on, so that's kind of nice. That's not something you're gonna get anytime soon. But yeah, pretty fun.
Oh, yeah.
I've never been a huge fan of PhotoPass, only for my like personal self. I feel like I never look great in those photos, so I feel like I'm like a little nervous, and I'm like
we're nervous, we're sweaty,
and I'm not like smiling the right way. So we only ever really rely on our own
been
photos.
running around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they are really cool. We've gotten some like you can say like, are there any magic shots here? And they'll tell you to do something silly and
Right, you know,
it's
have
really kind of
Tinkerbell
fun.
in your hand.
Yeah, or we had I think Sebastian once, which was fun.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our discussion this week. We have decided to do a bracket. Bracket. Yeah. So this week's theme is shows at Walt Disney World. So I define shows as anything where you are either sitting and watching something, or you are standing in a big crowd watching something. And it could be a video, it could be an animatronic show, anything that, you know, you
Puppet
consider,
show.
Yeah, a show. Because there just weren't enough parades and nighttime shows to do that, and there weren't enough like theme park shows to do their own thing, so I combine them all together.
Yeah, makes sense. It's our podcast. We do what we want.
Yeah, we
right?
can do whatever. I can define whatever I want. So we're going to split this bracket up between 2 episodes. So just this week, we're going to do the first round of 32, and then next week we'll finish it up and actually come up with our winner.
Yeah, to heighten the anticipation.
Oh yeah. Got it. Sorry. Okay. So shall I start?
Go for it. Yeah.
All right. So the first matchup. Oh, I guess I should talk about how we do these.
True. Yeah.
So I type up all of the items I want to have on the bracket, and I assign each one a number, and then I use a random sequence generator between 1 and 32, and then I place those numbered items in the bracket, and that's how they get matched up.
Yeah.
So that's how I try to keep it as fair as possible.
So it's purely random, and we've had
It is.
issues in the past where the bracket has pulled up like Toy Story 1 and Toy Story 2 in the same bracket thing. We're like,
Right.
oh, great.
Right, exactly. Okay, so our first matchup is Symphony in the Stars, which you can see, or used to be able to see at Hollywood Studios,
Yeah.
and Festival of Fantasy Parade at Magic Kingdom. So Symphony in the Stars was a Star Wars themed fireworks / projection show, very short, but you could see that on like Sunset Boulevard. Is that what it's called? Sunset Boulevard?
I think it was in front of the Chinese
In
theater.
front of the Chinese
Yeah.
theater, right? And then Festival of Fantasy is a parade that you could see at Magic Kingdom. As much as I enjoy Star Wars and Symphony in the Stars, and I think that the Star Wars music is really, really beautiful and powerful, I chose Festival of Fantasy for this one. I just have a lot of really great memories of Festival of Fantasy and watching Festival of Fantasy, and especially during like our first trip, just being like wowed by this parade. And I remember when I first came back, I would just like at lunchtime watch the videos I took of Festival of Fantasy Parade to like make myself feel like I was there. So, yeah, I had to go with Festival of Fantasy for this one.
Yeah. So you'll find that there are two things that happen when we give our judgments. The first one is that we always compliment and boost the one that did not win. And then the second thing is that, I mean, and as it should be, most of our winners are chosen based off of like memories and the emotional connection that we felt to these things. So also for me, Festival of Fantasy, Symphony in the Stars was beautiful. I think we maybe caught it once, twice.
Yeah, once or twice.
But just like Jen said, so many memories connect to Festival of Fantasy, and it's another thing that I can get caught in my head and just, you know, we could probably...
It's a very catchy tune.
Yeah, it's a very catchy tune. We could just sing it nonstop. So, yep, Festival of Fantasy for me as well.
All right. You can do the next one.
Okay. So next up we have Finding Nemo the Musical, which is a stage show that you can see in Animal Kingdom. It's located between, I think, Everest and Dino Land, right?
Correct.
And the other one is Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor, which was a show that you could go to in Magic Kingdom Park. It's in Tomorrowland, and it's based off of Monsters, Inc. And I guess when they decide that laughter is like the best power source, and that is an actual audience interactive show, which is very interesting. I chose Finding Nemo the Musical, though I do enjoy the fun that you can have at Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor. Right here it goes boosting up Monsters Inc. And it always has like the fun gimmicks that you have, you know, where they pick out a person that they circle back to the whole show.
That guy.
Is called that guy, affectionately referred to as, or the other that guy if the first guy doesn't really work out and doesn't seem like he's enjoying being that guy. I enjoy Finding Nemo the Musical, again, just for that emotional connection. I mean, for whatever reason, and Jen might say this too, we just get very, I say emotional a million times here, emotional for the show. It's fun to hear all the music that we love and sing along with everything. And although the benches are very uncomfortable in that theater for whatever reason, we just love the show. So we always, I think, try to make it to that show if we can.
Yeah, absolutely. I also chose Finding Nemo the Musical for pretty much all the same reasons. Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor is hilarious, and if you haven't done it, you should at least do it once.
Yeah.
But I also recommend doing it multiple times because it is very different because of the audience participation, and depending on like which cast members are performing that day, it could be different. So definitely a great one, but Finding Nemo the Musical because of that emotional connection and the talent of the performers.
Yep.
And I know people hate when people say this, but it's definitely like Broadway caliber. Like I would see this show on Broadway if they ever brought it to Broadway.
100%.
It's really, really good. So yeah. Okay. So Finding Nemo wins.
Yeah. Plus, we always liked to go see it and see our favorite cast members reprising their roles.
You were like, oh, that guy is playing Marlin again. You know, it's funny.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we have Awesome Mix Live, which was a show performed at Epcot at the American Adventure Theater, which was themed after Guardians of the Galaxy, versus Voyage of the Little Mermaid, a show slash half live action, half puppet show, half video at Hollywood Studios. So, again, Guardians of the Galaxy is my favorite movie, and I 100% loved Awesome Mix Live. We very rarely go see those shows at the American Adventure Theater because we're always so busy, but we made time to go see this, and it was so much fun. It was just like a good time, and the talent of the cast members that performed were amazing. But I had to go with Voyage of the Little Mermaid, mostly because Little Mermaid is like my favorite animated film, but also because I have like a distinct memory going to see this show when I was a child. Like I can remember like the mist and the lasers. I forgot there's lasers.
Yeah, like 80s style retro lasers.
And I just it's just I don't know, sentimental to me, I guess. It might not be the best show ever, and I'm sure it's on its way out at this point. But I loved it, and so we always made time to go see it, and that's the winner for me.
Yeah. Yeah, so you have all those sentimental connections to that show, and I understand that as well. And it's an amazing show.
Oh no, I see where this is going.
But yeah, I'm
going.
starting with Voyage of the Little Mermaid,
no.
unfortunately.
Oh no.
And I do enjoy the show. Sometimes it kind of like, I guess like if I'm trying to think of any negative, it might be if you're seated somewhere you might not see all of the show, or there are certain parts where like, I don't know, it might go too quickly and you might not catch things. But it's a very good show. I don't want to say that it's not a good show, because it is a very good show. The only reasons that I chose Awesome Mix Live over Voyage of the Little Mermaid was because of the reasons that you said. We were surprised, honestly, because we thought that the actors playing the characters in Awesome Mix Live were going to be like really campy and way too cheesy and like not really great. But their voices were fantastic. They really seemed to play the characters well, even though obviously they weren't the regular on-screen actors. And the music that they played really brought us like into our feeling of being a part of that movie. And I think it really got the audience going. And like you said, that was one of the shows that we actually stopped to see and we made time to see. And sorry for all the other artists that perform there. We never really do that. Only if we're like really hot and we need to take a break, we'll sit down there for a little bit and watch the show. But that was one of the best shows that I've ever seen there. So Awesome Mix one for me.
Oh.
So here we come to one of the parts of our show where we have to do a coin toss. And for that, we use handy dandy trusty pocket Siri to flip a coin for us. So let's see what she says. Hey Siri. Oop. Hey Siri, flip a coin. Oop.
We didn't hear.
Sorry. Okay, one more time.
Well, you don't just say what it is.
It's heads.
Okay.
Yeah.
Siri declared heads, so on our list, that's Awesome Mix Live.
Yes.
Fine.
I am so sorry.
No, you're not.
I am, though. I am. Voyage is a fantastic show.
No.
It is.
All right,
Yeah.
you're up next.
Okay, so up next we have Country Bears, which is Country Bears Jamboree, and that is found in Magic Kingdom in Frontierland. Does it count as Frontierland?
I think it does.
Yeah. Okay. So it's in Frontierland, and it's a classic show, which is a take on the original California classic show, which no longer exists. So this is the only place you can see it, is in Florida, and it's basically just a bunch of animatronic bears singing country songs. And then Reflections of China you can find in Epcot, which is in the China Pavilion, and it's one of those like 360 degree theaters, where you stand in the center of the room and you just like look around at all the screens talking about stuff, and it does these fantastic visuals of China and its landscape and its people and all the history and everything. I chose Reflections of China. We've seen it many times. Each time, obviously, since it's 360, you see something different, if you're looking in a different direction, and you can't always catch everything. Sometimes in the middle of the show, I'm like spinning because I'm just trying to take it all in, but it's always beautiful. And the music mixed with the sights and the words that they have, like a narrator who speaks like poetic lines and things and tells you about the history of China, and it's just beautiful. I think it's beautiful. And I did actually live in California when I was younger, but I don't think saw the Country Bears in California. So I'm not someone who has like a personal connection to Country Bears, and I don't know, it's not my favorite show. Some songs there are just kind of odd to me, and it's just kind of weird. But Reflections of China is definitely amazing in my book, so I chose that.
I also chose Reflections of China for everything that you said. Unfortunately, this is slated to change to a different film, so I don't know if we'll see it again, but I always did enjoy it. I know it's outdated, but I liked it. And the same thing you said, like, you could see something new every single time. I'm not a huge Country Bears fan. I didn't get the cult acclaim for it. I had heard somewhere that they had changed the show a little bit, so now it doesn't really make sense, and that's why maybe seeing it as an adult later, I didn't understand it. The animatronics are great, and I understand why people like it, but it's not for me. So, Reflections of China.
Yay.
Next was a hard one for me. We have Wishes, which was the fireworks show up until 2017 at Magic Kingdom, versus Impressions de France at the France Pavilion, which is an almost 360-degree movie, but not quite. It's like 270 maybe. Theater, you sit, and it shows the landscape of France, accompanied by music from French musicians, famous French musicians like Debussy and stuff like that. I don't know if I'm saying it right.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. As right as either of us are going to pronounce it.
You guys know. So this is really hard because Impressions de France.
Impression de France.
Is a really beautiful show, and we always love to go and catch this, like as we're walking around World Showcase, because not only is it a nice place to take a break, but it's really, really beautiful. The music is beautiful. The way that they paired the music with the scenes is amazing. It has a Soarin'-esque vibe because the screen is so big, so you kind of feel like you're flying a little bit. So really, really beautiful. Sometimes we'll see this like 2 or 3 times in one visit.
Rent park hopping was an option.
Right. But now, Wishes was one of our favorite fireworks shows. It was like one of the first fireworks shows we'd seen at Disney, and it'll always hold a special place in my heart, so I had to go with Wishes.
It's like a dead giveaway now, the order of things that we say. You know, Impression de France is, you can't necessarily judge that we don't like a show if we have fallen asleep while watching it. And this goes for Carousel of Progress, Impression de France. I have taken naps there. I think a lot of people have, but the music is beautiful. I have the album on my phone because I like to listen to it in the car. It's very soothing. It's classic. Again, it's a little bit outdated, just like the China Pavilion, and the visuals obviously aren't something that we would expect in today's world. But it is beautiful, and the landscape is beautiful, and Disney does a very good job with connecting you with the culture and the visuals of a country. However, Wishes is so emotionally charged for us, and this was something that was so important to us that we actually, I think, saw the last. One of the last.
We did make a special trip out there to see it one last time, because we weren't really intending to go to Disney that spring because we were getting married in the summer. Ted, what you doing? He's playing with the Halloween tree.
Oh my gosh.
We weren't intending to go to Disney that spring because we were getting married, but we ended up making a special trip out there for that reason. To see Wishes one more time because it was going to be gone by the time we went for our wedding.
Right.
So
it's going to be replaced by a different show, which will come up later a little bit. But still, yes. So it was one of our favorite shows, and one of the original shows. So Wishes won.
All right.
Up next, we have the Main Street Electrical Parade, which was a parade that used to be shown in Magic Kingdom, and it was sort of like a nighttime parade, and it had all these like really cool, fun, retro little floats that would go by. They would have like little creatures, and they'd have fun little synth pop music, and some characters that you don't typically see. Like I think they had Puff the Magic Dragon in there. And then the show eventually was moved to California, which it originally came from.
Yes,
right.
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
You got it.
And this is up against Frozen Sing Along, which is in Hollywood Studios. It was a show that was performed with live actors. It was both comedy
It
and
is performed.
True, yes.
It's
now
happening
it's
right
back
now.
open.
Yep.
So it is both a comedy show with these like two little kind of narrator people and a sing along. Of course, they have music from the show and they have actors and actresses playing. Elsa, Anna, Kristoff. I think Sven and Olaf might show up every so often. Depends. So I chose Frozen Sing Along. This is a show. Surprise! I'm saying it first. This is a show that we make sure again to see every time that we can when we go to Hollywood Studios when it's open. So whenever we next go, we will be making sure we go to see the show. It is funny. It is topical. They always update their jokes with stuff from like what's happening in current day, and it connects with the audience. It's so fun to sing along with everything. I mean, even if I think we had this one time that we went where there were these two little girls, one in front of us and one behind us, and like both families were competing for like how loud they could sing "Let It Go," and it's always just a wonderful time, and it's got like a lot of fun surprises, a unique ending, and it's just fantastic. Mickey's Main Street Electrical Parade is a great show. It's a lot of fun, but it's I don't know. It's just it's kind of like the same thing that you watch it every time, and though it's a lot of fun, and I love the music, and I love the way that they made the floats, and it's very attractive. Frozen Sing Along is just awesome. Yeah.
I also picked Frozen Sing Along for all of those reasons that you mentioned. But it was hard because Main Street Electrical Parade does hold a special place in my heart, and I miss it. And people still, well, before COVID, would line the streets waiting for the evening parade to come by, and it wasn't there anymore. So, I think it was like a tradition for a lot of families. So I definitely miss it. But yeah, Frozen Sing Along is just so much fun, and we love it so much. So, yep.
All right.
The next one was weird. I don't know. I had a hard time with this one.
Random weird matchup.
It's very, yeah. So the first one is O Canada, which was the old show at the Canada Pavilion. Another 360-degree film. Against Disney's Not So Spooky fireworks show, which is the new fireworks show during Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. And I've only ever seen it once, and obviously most people have only ever seen it once because it's brand new.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the new Canada show, so I couldn't include that here. I went with O Canada because I love Martin Short. He was hilarious in this film. But there was also the classic Canada song, Canada, my Canada, so I love that so much. And I wasn't a huge fan of Disney's Not So Spooky fireworks show. I don't know if it was because I was tired and cranky the first time I saw it, or I just missed Hollow Wishes and I didn't get the same feeling that I got when I watched Hollow Wishes. And it was mostly like a projections show, and I wasn't in a great spot to see it. So I didn't get a great first impression, whereas I'll always enjoy O Canada. So O Canada won it for me.
Yeah. When they were changing from Hollow Wishes, we thought it was going to be something like Spookily Ever After or something.
Oh yeah, because yeah.
To relate to Happily Ever After, which is what Wishes changed into. So we haven't seen O Canada in a good while, but when we did see it, I agree with you. I mean, we loved Martin Short. I always say Martin Sheen. That's not correct. He's obviously very funny. Love him in the Santa Claus too.
Father of the Bride.
And Father of the Bride.
Hello.
It was a classic show. Always great. Again, we said, Disney's Not So Spooky wasn't the best show. I mean, we are kind of picky when it comes to Magic Kingdom shows, so we need that balance between like fireworks and projections. And I think, that show relied very heavily on projections and was kind of not as exciting as we expected it to be. So, Canada, definitely one for me.
Okay. We're back, folks. We had some technical difficulties, but we have corrected them and we're ready to continue on. Stefan, you were just explaining the last segment.
Yes.
Last matchup.
All right, so this last matchup is between the Tree of Life Awakenings. Now, this is a show that's in Animal Kingdom. Basically, when you cross that first bridge and you see the big Tree of Life in front of you, it's a projection show. It happens at night. And this is a show that is based around all the different animal carvings that are on the Tree of Life. So it's slightly different every time. And it could be about, there's like an eagle carving that's on there, or like some sort of maybe like armadillo carving or something, basically all those different shows. So different every time.
But there are some set shows. I know when like Lion King was coming out, they did a whole Lion King themed little segment. In wintertime, they've done like ice skating on a pond with like deer and stuff like that. So they try to theme it around things that are happening either seasonally or, maybe in a motion picture or something like that. But yeah.
Sure, yeah. And then it is up against the Tapestry of Nations parade, which is a parade that was in Epcot a little ways back, not too long ago. I haven't seen it personally. I haven't seen it in person personally, but we have watched it many times on YouTube, and it is basically it takes place in the
World Showcase.
World Showcase. Thank you. And as anybody who's visited Epcot might know, the World Showcase is basically made up of all the different nations that are around the world. And this was sort of a celebration parade about all these different nations. And it has music that was actually kept in place into a different show that we will talk about next time.
Next time.
And it had puppeteers. It was live actors. It had a lot of interaction with the crowd at the time. So we have seen Tree of Life Awakenings maybe like twice, because usually it's playing either as we're on our way to go see Rivers of Light, or it's playing as we're leaving after Rivers of Light and we're already tired by that point. And it's a good couple shows. We've made sure to stop and watch them. But we do love Tapestry of Nations. This is something that there's really only like one video of it that's like a good enough video to watch on YouTube, and it's
because it's from like early 2000
right.
when people still recorded video on an actual video recorder.
So there are a lot of like jump cuts, and it's not like the best show ever, or the best production quality ever.
Jump cut? Who does that? Nobody I know.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a jump cut, and then you'll cut to this.
And then we'll do this.
But it is just a fantastic show, and we love the music in this, and we think that the things that they did within the show, like floats and the different just creations that they did for the cast members to use and walk through the show with, are just stunning and engineering feats of genius, and it's a fantastic show. Tapestry won for me.
Tapestry won for me too. I do love the music from both of these, but Tapestry of Nations has the best music. I find that the things that I love the most, I'm connected to through music of some kind. So yeah, in Tapestry of Nations, the theme always reminds me of walking out of Epcot at night after seeing Illuminations. And so it was like kind of like sentimental, but yeah, it was a fantastic parade. I did see it. I've decided I have seen it, because like in my memory, I thought I saw Main Street Electrical Parade in Epcot, but there was no way that was possible. So it had to have been Tapestry of Nations. With the they had like the drummers drumming on these giant drums that rotated, which was really cool. But I love it, and I'll watch it sometimes just at home. When I'm feeling sad, yeah. I'll put it on YouTube. So yeah, you said all All the things. So Tapestry of Nations for sure.
Oh, and if only Epcot weren't always so crowded, pre-pandemic. I really wish they would bring it back. I mean,
Oh my God.
you could have it there. There's no other parade at Epcot.
If I could pick one thing to come back to Disney World, I think it would be Tapestry of Nations.
Absolutely. Same here. So that wraps up the first round of the bracket here.
First round of eliminations. We're going to take a quick pause to come up with our second picks, and then we'll be right back. All right, so our first matchup, Festival of Fantasy Parade versus Finding Nemo the Musical. I picked Finding Nemo the Musical. As I mentioned at the end of the last round, I'm very connected to things via music, and Finding Nemo has always held a very special place in my heart. Ted is playing in the background. And there's just some songs in Finding Nemo the Musical that get me every single time. And if one of these two were to end and I would never see again, I would be most disappointed to never see Finding Nemo the Musical again. So that's why I went with Finding Nemo.
Yeah. I just made the mistake of thinking of one of the songs in my head from Finding Nemo the Musical, and it was not the right song to think of because I'm going to get emotional. Yeah, again, the music, the emotional connection. It's another thing we always bring up. Well, if we could only choose one, if one had to go and the other stayed, I would keep Finding Nemo the Musical, absolutely.
Yep.
Hands down. So, yeah, right there with you. All right. Next we have Awesome Mix Live versus Reflections of China. And though, again, I said I love both of these shows. They're both fantastic in their own right. They are very different shows. So it's kind of hard to compare them. But because of our love for Guardians of the Galaxy and because of how fantastic this show was live, I went with Awesome Mix Live. Not to say Reflections of China is not a great show. Okay, it's fantastic, but Awesome is my choice.
I also picked Awesome Mix Live for all of those same reasons. The actors in the show were excellent and the musicians were amazing. And it was just an overall good time. And not to say that Reflections of China is not a good time, but it's a different feel for sure. And if I had to pick to see one of these, if I only had one day in the park and I can only see one, I would want to see Awesome Mix Live.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, we had Wishes versus First Time and Forever Frozen Sing Along. This one was extremely hard. This was the hardest one for me on this list. And at the end, I had to go with my gut, and I picked Wishes again. Not that I don't absolutely love Frozen Sing Along, but if I could see Wishes one more time, I definitely would pick that over seeing the Frozen Sing Along show. So I picked Wishes.
Yeah, Wishes, though in the past I've mistakenly said it's the first show we saw, which it was not. But it's one of the first shows we've seen. Illuminations, Reflections.
Oh, that's right.
But this, obviously it's not running now. I would give anything to have the show come back, just to see it one more time, just like you said. And it just has that deep emotional connection for us, It goes back to one of the first times we went, so.
Yep.
Love it, miss it.
Okay.
And then finally we have O Canada versus Tapestry of Nations. And which is funny enough because, basically O Canada could have been part of Tapestry of Nations. It's in Epcot, it's in World Showcase.
It is true.
I, despite, as I said, having not seen Tapestry of Nations, I'm going with Tapestry of Nations. The music is fantastic. It's so catchy. The visuals are so great and surprisingly so. Yeah, it's just Tapestry for me.
Yeah, there was no decision here. No difficult decision. It has to be Tapestry of Nations. All right, we're going to take a quick break to come up with our final two, and then we'll be picking our winner. All right, we're here.
Yeah.
This was really hard. Well, the second one was.
That's the problem with picking your favorites, is that then you pit the favorite favorites against the favorite favorites.
Correct. So our first matchup, Finding Nemo the Musical versus Awesome Mix Live. I picked Finding Nemo the Musical, again, for all the reasons I've mentioned previously. And Awesome Mix Live was great, and I would see it again and again, but it doesn't have the same emotional connection as Finding Nemo the musical. So
yeah, we're big on emotion.
Apparently,
And
this episode particularly, I guess.
Yeah, a lot of the time it ends up being like, well, if I want to have more fun versus like relax. But this is Awesome Mix Live. We've seen, I guess that was that one time, and even though it was fantastic, we have so many memories of seeing Finding Nemo the musical, and the music that we connect to, and the characters are fantastic. The costume, the acting is wonderful, and we just love that show. So
okay.
And then we have Wishes versus Tapestry of Nations, and this is such a tough choice. And it's tough for me. I know it's going to be very tough for you. Unfortunately, for Tapestry of Nations, I had to go with Wishes just because that's what my personal experience leads me to go with. I had to go with my gut. Again, Wishes was just like, if I think of Wishes, I think of like where our love for Disney, going to Disney, like was really starting. So, and it just like, it makes me warm and feel hope, and like, it just has that emotional connection for me. So Wishes won.
Tapestry of Nations won for me. I don't know. I went with my gut on this one. And Tapestry of Nations, I mean, not to get like real emotional about it, but it kind of got me through a really dark time during quarantine when it felt like it was never going to end. We were never going to get to Disney again, which we still haven't, but I feel more hopeful than I did during this time. And I remember just watching like Tapestry of Nations almost like every night for like 2 or 3 weeks because it brought me joy and nostalgia of times gone by. And it also reminds me of Illuminations, which is another one of my favorite shows. And like of old Disney. I mean, Wishes is old Disney too, I guess. But for me, it was Tapestry of Nations. I don't know. I don't really have a good reason.
I'm so sorry.
I'm
sorry for either of us. This is going to be a struggle of a coin toss here.
What? Coin toss.
Or a coin toss, as one might say.
Flip a coin.
Heads.
Oh, damn.
Oh, Wishes.
I'm never going to win this episode.
This is so unfortunate. I was just going to say, it seems like we're really agreeing a lot, but...
Grr. How dare you?
Maybe you'll win the next episodes.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Okay, so
now we have Finding Nemo the musical versus Wishes. I have no idea what to say about this.
I don't know either. This is the position we put ourselves in.
Ooh, man. I really have to think. Wishes, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You picked Wishes
I was
too.
gonna say Wishes. I was just thinking about the whole show in my head right now, going through the music.
Me
and
too.
everything.
Me too. I was like, how did it go again? It's been a while, but I remember my emotions when I watch it.
It was one of those things where, I mean, Illuminations, obviously, like we'll talk. Okay, well, I'm not gonna mention it because we'll talk about it at a later point. But also Wishes is like, you don't realize what a show can be, like a fireworks show can be, how spectacular it can be, until we saw
Until
Wishes.
you've seen a Disney show.
Until you've seen a Disney show, yeah. And Wishes was definitely one of them that we like were just blown away, and the music and again the emotion. I mean, again, it's there with Finding Nemo, but I'm just thinking the whole time I'm thinking of Wishes, I'm just right there with it. It's connecting to me.
There's always that meme where it's like on the 4th of July, all Disney fans go and attend their local fireworks shows and just say, meh. That's how I feel. But yeah, okay. This was unexpected. I didn't think Wishes would make it this far, but it did.
Yeah, but it did. So
All right.
Wishes is our winner for this
For this
episode.
half. Next week we will do the second half of the bracket and the final two.
Yes.
And we'll pick a winner.
That's right. We'll see what gets to go up against wishes. Very exciting.
I'm nervous.
I'm nervous too. We'll find out. So that is our show. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. You can find us on our website at www.mouseearsandwishes.com, or we're on Instagram at @mouseearsandwishes. We hope you enjoyed our show today. If you're listening via Apple Podcasts, please rate and review us on iTunes. And if you're watching us on YouTube, please like our video and subscribe if you haven't already. This just helps us get noticed by other Disney lovers like you.
And if you're looking for someone to help you plan your next Disney, Universal, or cruise line vacation, I am a travel expert with Magical Vacation Planner, so please reach out to me at j.darmiento@magicalvacationplanner.com, or visit me on Facebook at www.facebook.com/JenniferMVP. I will link all of these contact materials in the description down below. Until next time, have a great week, everybody. Remember to keep wearing your masks. We are still in a pandemic. I also want to add, please vote. Now is the time. Vote, vote, vote. And
keep on wishing.